Welcome to the August 27th meeting of the Advisory and Finance Committee for the Town of Plymouth, being held at the Great Hall and Town Hall in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This evening's meeting is a hybrid meeting with some participants attending physically and others attending virtually via a video conference application. The ways to watch this meeting, it'll be airing on Comcast 9, Verizon 47, or on the local scene streaming channel, www.youtube.com/@PlymouthMeetingSLS. Any speaker giving public comment is allowed up to 5 minutes in which to speak. Public comment can be made at the beginning or end of the meeting, or in regard to a particular agenda item the speaker wishes to be heard on. The Zoom login information for anyone who wants to attend via Zoom is ways to join are via the Zoom application. You can download the Zoom app from zoom.com and then click join to enter the meeting. The meeting ID is 995-2986-0638. The meeting password is 100131. You can also join via the Zoom website. It requires a microphone. Go to www.zoom.us, click join a meeting on the upper right-hand side of the screen, and again, enter the meeting ID 995-2986-0638, and then the meeting password is 10031. And finally, you can join via telephone, voice only, dial 929-205-6099, and enter the meeting ID 995-2986-0638, and enter the meeting password 10031. So with that, I'd like to do a roll call for tonight. Ms. Butler, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right. Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Jacinto?
Here.
All right. I'm here. Mr. Malaguti? All right. Ms. O'Connor? All right. Mr. Pizarro?
Present.
Mr. Ramey?
Present.
Mr. Renaud?
Present.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Malaguti has joined us. All right, Ms. Richards?
Here.
Mr. Snyder? Here. Ms. Tompkins?
Here.
Mr. Trudell?
Present.
Mr. Vecchi?
Here.
Great, thank you. We have quorum.
Mr. Renaud just entered the meeting. Mr. Renaud just entered.
Okay, I got him, thank you very much. All right, we're gonna skip down to the articles and get them going first. So the first on the agenda is Article 1, I believe. Lynn Barrett, Finance Director for the town, is going to present on that article. Welcome, Ms. Barrett.
Good evening. So we're presenting a summary memo on the Article 1 budget amendment for the general fund. I described, have the memo here, and then also a 2-page sources and uses on the budget, which sort of shows you what the budget looked like in April when we went to town meeting and what has changed over the summer and what we're going to town meeting in the fall with. So as you know, during the budget process, normally we level funded state aid, and then state aid came in $2.4 million greater than we had anticipated. During the budget process, we had agreed that when state aid came in, that we would share that with the schools with the formula that we've been using for the budget, 39% on the town side, 61% on the school side. So the Article 1 budget amendment for the general fund has a total appropriation of about $2,056,000 of that $2.4 million. And each line item is listed in the memo as to what department is going to receive or recommended to receive those funds based on their request for funds. So there is a memo attached to my memo and sources and uses from the town clerk's office, from the town manager's office, from the fire department and from the school department. There's a couple of appropriations which don't necessarily, they don't have a memo, but in my memo, what we're doing with some of this money, it's approximately $303,000, is we're adding back the vacancy cut, the vacancy factor cut that we had made during the budget process. If you remember, there was a few departments that had vacancies, and we had to, cut the budget, so we did a 15% vacancy factor cut to the budget, and that affected the police department and a number of divisions in the DPW. So we're requesting to add that money back so that they can restore and hire full positions. So that is included there. The sources and uses is there for you. There's some other things that we have to raise on the recap sheet that we're using the rest of the 2.4 million, the rest, the 400,000, which is going to go towards an increase in the allowance for abatements and exemptions for the twofold. One is for the HERO Act, because town meeting had adopted that, but the numbers that we had used originally in the budget going into the spring were based on 2024 exemptions for veterans. And since then, we now know what the 2025 numbers were, and they had increased dramatically. So we wanted to increase that appropriation there. So if there are any questions, either for myself or any of the departments that are here tonight that are requesting funds, please let us know.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Any questions from Ms. Barrett? Seeing and hearing none, is there any member of the public who wishes to comment on this article? All right. Go ahead, Ms. Richards.
I'm sorry, I had a question for Kelly McElrath. You had asked me if I had a question for Lynn Barrett.
I'm sorry.
Are we?
Yeah, we're discussing Article 1, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes. So I have a question for Kelly McElrath.
Okay, Ms. McElrath?
Good evening, how are you?
Hi, Kelly, fine, thanks, how are you?
Good.
I had a question regarding the postage. And I saw we're requesting some more money for the postage. Did you look into,
I did look into it. Residents,
Could you say into what? I'm sorry.
the law regarding sending bills, town bills electronically?
Yeah, I worked with the finance director, Lynn Barrett, and we determined that we are, with our online payment system, Invoice Cloud, residents are still able to request electronic mailings to them where they get it by email. But I think it's going to be a slow process before we will really see much cost savings when it comes to mailing those out. But we're in the process of trying to ask people to electronically receive their bills.
Okay, so how would somebody do that, request?
I believe all the bills that they get have a link on there, or you can pay online, go to this link, and I believe it's based on bill number, if I know correctly, because that's how I pay my excise tax personally. And once you put in the bill number, it all comes up. And then I believe there's a button you can click to say, please send this to me electronically.
Okay, because I'm still getting bills, but I do pay everything electronically.
Okay.
So if you do get your bills mailed to you, so you can request through Invoice Cloud,
Yeah.
the online portal that we have, because I did it for myself. So you can request to go paperless with, you can do it for your water and sewer bill, you can do it for your real estate tax bill, and you can do it for boat excise. The only one you can't do it for is motor vehicle excise, because there's a stalker law in Massachusetts that we cannot provide PDF versions of motor vehicle excise, because other people could look at those and find the address of someone that they're looking for. So it's provided for all bills except for motor vehicle excise.
So has that reduced our postage at all?
On the water and sewer side, as of last, I think probably this past spring, there was at least 800 people that had signed up for paperless, and we have over 15,000 customers, so I think as people get familiar with it, and we can always push out another message through the communications person, to remind people that they can do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yep.
Any other questions? Oh, yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. I actually have two. One is piggybacking on Ms. Richards. With the notification, could that also be like a little leaflet or something inside the mail as well too with the bill in case, because not everyone sees the small print, but if there could be like a bigger.
Yeah, so when we converted to our new online platform over a year ago, we included inserts, and we included a lot of, we included them at that time, and we did a big social media push, but we can do it again,
Okay.
just to remind
Great,
people.
thank you.
Yeah.
Then the other one is for Mr. Brindisi for the legal budget. So with the two positions that are looking to be acquired, what is the, how would I say it, the projected savings in both personnel time and in cost in dollar-wise?
That's a great question. So let me start by saying that we brought on Attorney McKay about a year ago as a full-time town official, benefited employee. Prior to that, she was working as a contract attorney for the town. So having brought in Attorney McKay to work full-time in Town Hall to operate as our general counsel, we've been able to demonstrate that we saved at least $50,000 this past fiscal year by having brought in in-house town counsel. So working with the chairman over the last 6 months, we've been analyzing the budget, we've been analyzing the efficiencies of the operation, and we think it's time to kind of expand the what will hopefully eventually be the law department. And so what we're proposing now is to bring on a full-time labor attorney. We did an analysis of how much we spent in labor costs this past year, and we outsourced our labor costs to KP Law. Labor alone costs the town just under $100,000. What we haven't analyzed to the full extent is the other individuals who also contribute to the labor management, the personnel matters, the grievance hearings. And so what I mean by that is our assistant town manager, I would project spend somewhere between 12 to 20 hours on the, per week just on labor alone, working in concert with council, working in concert with the human resources director. So we'll save those 12 to 20 hours per week because we'll be able to redirect all labor stuff directly to the labor attorney. So projecting based upon the assistant town manager's salary, that's upwards around $80,000, $70,000 to $90,000 in savings for the assistant town manager, which would then allow us to, and this is part of the memo, the backup memo, it allows us to rework the operations and would allow the assistant town manager to focus on the day-to-day operations and less time on the personnel matters. So this is my presentation and my long-winded response to your question that, we're thinking at least $90,000 in labor costs, and then projecting somewhere between $70,000 and $90,000 in the costs incurred by having the assistant town manager so heavily involved in labor relations. And this is a non-collective bargaining year. So we settled out all our collective bargaining agreements about a year ago. So as we enter 2027, we'll be re-engaged in the 7 unions and starting that. So based upon really leaning forward, we know that we'll be spending much more than the $90,000 we spent this last year on a labor attorney.
Thank you. And the last part of that, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, that's just a one-time.
That's a one-time expense,
Okay.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Mr. Malaguti. Ms. Richards?
Mr. Brindisi, before you sit down, I just had a quick question. Hiring the additional legal counsel, does this reduce, or is this going to offset at all what we pay Capola and Capola for the tax-taking issues?
No, so Capola does, works directly with our treasurer collector on doing land tax takings. And actually, we've been engaged, Capola with helping us with all the affidavits for the 550 parcels that were approved at town meeting in the last plus decade that need to be certified and need to be recorded with the registry of deeds. So those are two different attorney firms. Capola helps us with our real estate, and KP Law helps us in a myriad of issues, labor being one of them.
Are there any thoughts of hiring counsel that has a more general legal background versus just certain
Specialized.
specialized legal counsel?
So you wouldn't want that. So lawyers that practice in every field are not great at any of them. So you want to hire lawyers that focus on the areas of law that you have the highest amount of work in. So the town frequently engages in labor law and real estate transaction-related law. There are obviously other things that come up from time to time. There's some things that we are always going to use outside counsel with, and a legal department with a general counsel would generally liaise with that, which is more efficient to have a lawyer liaising with another lawyer than it is to have somebody like Derek or Silvio do that, because they can get to the meat of the matter and do some of the prep work beforehand and reduce the cost that they're being billed at. But you're like something like we have for whole tech related issues, the decommissioning related issues, we use a lawyer at Anderson and Krieger that does that type of work for various other communities. It doesn't, even though whole tech decommissioning in our town is a major town related issue, there's not enough work there to justify like a full-time employee that specializes in that. So you would always basically want to contract something like that out. You might have other specialty things that pop up from time to time. You need to either bring on additional staff to deal with something like, say, when the sewer main exploded in 2015 and we had litigation regarding that, you might need to bring on special lawyers to assist with that beyond your legal department. But generally speaking, you want to hire lawyers that specialize in your highest priorities, and then they will pick up on some of that other stuff time to time as they come up, but that's the best bang for your buck. If you hired a general practitioner to do everything, you wouldn't be great at any of it.
So now so we're going to have a labor attorney, and we have Kate is what is her specialty?
Well, so Kate, her background is in litigation related in court appearances. She is actively appearing in court frequently, and she's drafting our municipal bylaws that she's worked on. A lot of the stuff that you see before you, she focuses on and works on that. So she'll be in charge of the department, and this lawyer will be focusing on one of the two main areas that department will be focusing a lot of their time on, and then a paralegal to assist.
Okay, but prior to hiring Kate, what was her specialty? What was her legal specialty?
Criminal and civil litigation and municipal law.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Canty or others with regard to this article?
I have one.
Go ahead.
This is going back to postage. Sorry to keep bringing back to that. So specifically for property taxes, I'm thinking about escrow here. They get sent to the banks as well. And also, you know, if you're not paying your property taxes physically and your bank is doing it, you're probably not looking at it. So have there been a lot of efforts done to like get people to look at those and like, because I'm not going online, I'm not coming in here to pay my escrow or
So
my...
it would be the same thing as we would encourage people to sign up for paperless billing. We can't mandate it or turn it off for people, They have to sign up for it themselves, and they would do it through our online platform, Invoice Cloud. And we can put out an education, bulletin on how people can do that, to try to encourage them to do that.
Yeah, and I think the leaflets that were mentioned would probably, like something flashy in there would be good, because like I'm not going online to look at that. Just as me personally, just.
No, I meant to say that we can put the education bulletin inside, one of the next bills. We could do like social media posts. We could, push it out there. Put it in our quarterly newsletter that we're going to send out in October. So we've got a few options that we can do that with.
And then the second part of that, do you mail them physically to banks or?
We don't mail them. All property tax bills get mailed to the owner of record as of January 1st.
Okay.
So the banks and mortgage services, we don't mail bills to.
Interesting.
They come and get the information through a file.
Okay,
Yeah, electronically. Yeah.
thank you.
Go ahead. You don't, excuse me, are you done, Mr.?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, go ahead. Ms. Richards?
So you send that electronically to the banks? They request it electronically?
Yeah, some of them get it electronically. Some of them come in to the office and sit at a computer and do it. It all depends on the tax service, how they.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Well, first, I'd like to say that's a wonderful new option I wasn't aware of. And I think as banks become aware of it, as others become aware of it, they will take advantage because it costs them a lot of money to do all that lookup by hand, so it's great. Any other questions or comments from the committee? And I don't see anyone here from the public, so I'd certainly entertain a motion, perhaps from Ms. Butler, to recommend Article 1 for approval.
I recommend Article 1 for approval.
All right, Mr. Dunn, would you care to second?
Second.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion among the committee? All right, Mr. Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'm kind of torn on this. I think I'm going to vote to support it. I just think that addressing the thousands of acres of land that's likely to come up soon is probably a better use of our taxpayer money than gearing up to fight our union members. But I guess if that's the decision that the town wants to make of which attorney we'll get, then that's the decision.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Any other comment from committee members? All right, seeing and hearing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn, how do you vote?
I'm going to abstain.
All right. Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Malaguti?
Abstain.
All right. Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Renaud? I think I heard a yes. All right, yes. Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Abstain.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes, Ms. Tompkins.
All right. Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
We're tallying the vote right now.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yeses, and 1, 2, 3 abstains.
All right, we have 9 yeses, 3 abstentions. The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Article 2 and Article 3 are no motion, no action, and I would like to jump now to Article 9 and ask Ms. Barrett to approach the podium.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking this in advance. So this article is a local option for cities and towns to adopt, and it's similar to the provision that we adopted last spring for treasurer collectors, that when they get certified, there's a provision to allow them to pay them an extra $1,000 stipend. And this is the same for assessors and assistant assessors who get certified, that they would get paid up to a maximum of $1,000 for their certification. We feel pretty strongly that this is a nice retention and recruiting tool for those positions, and I would recommend it.
Ms. Richards?
Are the certificates a requirement of the job description?
They are a requirement to get the certification for the director, and I'm not sure about the assistant. I would have to check on that one.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes. Mr. Malaguti?
Thank you. I'm supportive of this. I just have a question. If you know, based upon the Chapter 59, what's the actual date of this chapter? Because if it's talking about 10% of annual salary up to $1,000, I highly doubt that, unless it's talking about like volunteer assessors or something like that as well too, because if it's 10%, then it'd be like 5,000, 7,000, something like that for them. So I'm just wondering if that was like if this was dated like decades ago,
This
for the
provision,
terminology.
yeah, I'm not really sure, Everett, how long it's been around. There's 3 of them. There's one for treasurer collectors, one for assessors, and there's one for town clerks. There's not one for town accountants, but that's okay. But I'm paid very well, so don't worry about it. So I don't know, where that
Okay,
comes
it was just a
from.
general
It's
thing,
been around
'cause I
for a
was
while.
just looking at it, and it
Yeah.
sort of seemed weird for the
Yeah.
10% or $1,000.
Yeah. I think they're trying to, provide something, because I think it came, I'm sure the associations lobbied for it, so they probably wanted to give them something and not give them a whole bunch of money, so they limited it at $1,000.
Okay, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I was just looking for clarity. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Vecchi?
Sorry, before you sit down, I was listening to Mrs. Richards' question. So the current personnel have the certifications that we're talking about in the,
So our assistant assessor has a certification, and our new director of assessing, who started in January, he's doing a fantastic job. You have to have certain educational requirements and certain classes that you have to take, and he is, as far as I know, he is 2 classes away from, because he was a certified appraiser prior to coming to Plymouth, so a lot of his education and experience work towards getting this certification. So he only has probably like another year to go, and he would probably get certified.
all right, so it's just 2 people then?
Just 2 people.
Thank
Yep.
you.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Barrett on Article 9? All right, any questions from the public? I see and hear none, either remotely or in person. And with that, Mr. Jacinto, would you care to make a motion to approve Article 9?
I'll make a motion to approve the article as read.
Mr. Malaguti, would you care to second?
Second.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing and hearing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
I didn't hear him.
Yes.
Oh, he said yes.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
He said yes. All right. Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
All right.
12, yes.
All right, 12 yeses, no abstentions. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Thank you. All right, here's an important one, Article 5. I believe Mr. Brindisi's presenting the issues about why we should consider approving this. Welcome, Mr. Brindisi.
Good evening. So I'm here to present Article 5, which is changing this 2026 Springtown meeting date. So as you all know, the general bylaws set the annual town meeting in spring for the first Saturday of April of every year. In that same bylaw, it also states that the only way to change the date of town meeting in the spring is through town meeting action. This year, on April 5th is Easter, so this would be, so right now, town meeting is set for the day before Easter. We are predicting that this may cause some challenges for town meeting members to attend. So this article is seeking town meeting approval to move the spring annual town meeting from April 4th to April 11th to deconflict the Easter holiday.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions from the committee? All right, I have one. If town meeting failed to reach, first of all, it's a holiday weekend, so there's higher costs associated with that in the use of the high school, I believe. Am I correct in assuming that if town meeting failed to achieve quorum on that Saturday, they would have to reschedule and have a whole nother setup at extra cost at a later date?
Yeah, if we don't have
Okay.
quorum, we'd have to move
Okay,
the.
good. I just want people to be aware of the fact that this is, in my opinion, as Mr. Brindisi agrees, could be a higher probability of failing to meet quorum given that day of the week. So, thank you. Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. I wasn't going to say anything on this, but since the bylaws require town meeting to actually vote to move it based upon a holiday or something else, is there a way that we could change that? Obviously not right now, but is there a way we could change that so that if it does fall on a holiday, that we would, in a way, circumvent town meeting to move it a week instead of convening everyone, wasting that money just to move the date another week?
I think to do that permanently, as you suggest, Everett, we would have to amend the bylaw to reflect a change, something that would affect the change like a holiday or something. Or emergencies don't really apply because the moderator under the statute has the ability to move town meeting based upon an emergency. But this is a non-emergency, so we'd have to change the bylaw. That's just, in that case.
Okay, just food for thought in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. May sounds great.
Any further discussion or any more questions from the committee? And again, seeing no one here from the public or remotely via Zoom. Let's see, who are we down to now? All right. Mr. Pizarro, would you care to make a motion to approve Article 5?
So moved.
All right. And Mr. Ramey, would you care to second that motion?
I second the motion.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing and hearing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
I vote yes, despite the conflict with National Cheese Fondue Day.
Okay, so I didn't hear whether you voted yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. All right, thank you. All right, next up we have Article 6. Mr. Canty, Kevin Canty, Chair of the Select Board, is going to present on Article 6.
Thank you, Mr. Lally. So yes, I am Kevin Canty. I have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Select Board, and I'm here to present on Fall Annual Town Meeting, Article 6, which seeks to establish a land acquisition special revenue account for Chapters 61, 61A, and 61B rollback taxes. Here we go. All right, so Chapter 61 rollback taxes. You might be asking yourself, what is that? What is Chapter 61? Well, I'll tell you. So Chapter 61 is for land in forestry status. Chapter 61A is for land in agricultural status. Chapter 61B is for land in recreation status. If you are a landowner and you are going to use land within these qualifying uses, you can apply to place it into what's referred to commonly as chapter status, and that gives you a reduced tax rate, but there are certain obligations that come with that, including if you are to remove it from chapter status, whichever one it may be in, and seek to convert it to, say, a residential use or some other use that is not consistent with the purposes of one or more of the various chapter statuses, that would trigger rollback taxes. Those rollback taxes, generally speaking, would go back 5 years. They could be shorter if you weren't in chapter for that long, or if you had a situation where the conversion happened after you took it out of status, but within 5 years of taking it out of status. But as a rule of thumb, it's generally, if you took it out today for a converted use, it would go back 5 years, you'd pay rollback taxes. The rollback taxes are the total difference between what was actually paid during those relevant years in chapter status and what would have been paid if the land had been taxed normally, plus 5% interest per year, with the exception of, I think there's agricultural exemption for properties that are in 61A prior to January 1st of, I think, 2006. But for the most part, it would qualify for that 5% interest on those 5 years of rollback taxes. However, some of the chapter status in full candor, some of the land has been in there for decades. So 5 years of rollback taxes generally is not that much, but that's what the current law. It's state law. It's Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 61, 61A, and 61B. So that's what establishes the option for this and what the interest rate is paid on those back taxes as they come due. So over time, the town has acquired Chapter 61 funds in the amount of, over the past 18 years, $1,503,837.30. However, this money is not anticipated in your budgetary process because we never know when land is going to come out of 61 status or 61A or B. So it's not appropriated for a specific use like covering maintenance of a building or covering salaries in a department. What happens right now is that money, as it comes due, goes into the general fund, but because it's not designated for a specific use, it then flows into free cash at the end of your fiscal year. Free cash, for longtime FinCom members will know, is often used for capital items and other projects in town or some other like temporary one-time uses. But that's a generalized term for money that was either appropriated and not used, or was acquired but not appropriated in the last fiscal year. So if we had this particular fund, which seeks to capture this money for the past 18 years, we would have $1,503,837.30 in it. As you can see, the amount of money that the town gets in 61 rollback over time varies wildly. Over an 18-year period, it has averaged to be about $83,564. However, as you see, no particular year reflects that figure. In fiscal year 2019, it was as low as $357.80 for the entire year. And then in fiscal year 2014, it was as high as $376,325.27. But clearly it varies wildly up and down between those figures. So, the purpose of Article 6 is to prevent what I just described of that money going into the general fund and then going into free cash at fiscal year's end, and instead creating a dedicated fund that would capture those funds and preserve them for future open space, recreation, or municipal use needs that the town has. Currently, when land goes out of Chapter 61 status, in addition to having to pay rollback taxes, it triggers a right of first refusal for that land. And we have the Land Use and Acquisition Committee that assesses land that comes out of chapter status for any desirable community or municipal uses that the town may want to use that parcel for, to see if we want to exercise the right of first refusal. We often do not exercise that. As you can see, for instance, in that year in 2014, when we only got $357, that was probably a postage stamp sized parcel that came out of Chapter 61 land. Then there are other times where recently there was an attempt to take a 176-acre parcel out of Chapter 61 land. So the size of Chapter 61 land can vary. We never know when it's going to come about. But this article would seek to take it and create a fund where that money would instead go, rather than the general fund, and it would be available for use of open space recreation or municipal use needs. And we could leverage that based on the ones that we decline to buy one that came up unexpectedly, or for any other valid open space recreation or municipal use need. As the town continues to grow, we are going to continue to need to preserve open space for environmental protection and aquifer protection. We are going to have to increase our recreation space for the increased demands on our existing recreation space and to provide more opportunities for people to recreate. And we will have municipal use needs like new fire stations as the town continues to grow, a substation of the police department, new elementary schools, something of that nature. So this ties one of the things that's going to incentivize the removal of land from Chapter 61 status is as we approach build out over the next 15 to 20 years. Because it's going to incentivize people, rather than getting a tax break and using it for one of those designated purposes, I can instead sell it on the open market and have it be developable, often for residential space. So I am predicting that we are going to see an uptick of that as we approach build out, as land becomes more and more scarce, because there'll be an increased incentive to put that on the market. So this would capture the funds from the ones that we don't intend to use, or the ones we do, and be able to leverage that to buy the ones that we do want to use and exercise that right of first refusal for one of those designated purposes. So, any questions? Oh, and it would require town meeting action in order to appropriate money from the fund.
Great. Any questions from the committee for Mr. Canty? Well, I have one.
Very well.
How does this fund differ from what I believe is a pending application to the state for the land bank that was approved
Yes.
a couple town meetings ago?
That is a great question, and I can answer that completely. So it varies in multiple ways. So number one, all it requires us to do is to pass this. It's much easier for us to accomplish, whereas the land bank is currently past one of 3 unique hurdles that it needs to go through, which is passing a town meeting vote, which it did. Then it needs to pass at the state legislature and be signed into law. But then it also needs to be affirmed by the voters of Plymouth in a town-wide election. So we don't know yet if it's going to pass muster at Beacon Hill. We are cautiously optimistic, as we tend to be, but that remains an open question. We also do not know yet, obviously, what the outcome of any potential election on the subject will be. And unless and until it clears all those hurdles, that land bank will not exist, currently does not exist. But the town has needs of this nature now. The other way it differs, the land bank, if it were to be created, would create an independent land bank commission that would manage those funds and determine when to appropriate those funds, independent of any arm of town government, including town meeting. This does not do that. This creates a dedicated fund to park the money, but still requires town meeting action to remove it from that. So if we wanted to acquire a piece of land that was coming out of Chapter 61 status, unless it happened to line up with pre-existing town meeting dates, we would very likely have to call a special town meeting in order to acquire that land, if we wanted to do so. And this fund would be available to contribute towards that amount. If we had, for instance, when that 176-acre parcel came before us, had 1.5 million from the last 18 years of declining these parcels coming up, if we had that 1.5 million, that would have been a good down payment. It's not going to pay for the whole parcel of that cost. It's not that much money over time. $1.5 million over 18 years isn't that much money, really. But it would be able to contribute towards that. And it's another tool in the toolbox. Right now, the money is basically falling into the couch cushions and being vacuumed up on July 1st. So this seeks to vacuum it up mid-year for a different purpose.
Great. All right. I don't see any more questions from the committee. I see no members of the public, either in person or remote. Having said that, where am I at on motion? Mr. Renaud, would you care to move Article 6? Mr. Renaud, would you care to move Article 6? You're muted. There you go. Still can't hear you.
Up there for a second. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
All right, raise your hand if you moved Article 6. Thank you. All right, and Ms. Richards, would you care to second Article 6?
Seconded.
All right. Is there any further discussion, any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing any, Ms. Richards.
I'm not altogether sure how I'm going to vote on this. It appears to just create another fund for land purchasing, although I don't believe that that's a bad thing. But, creating specific funds earmarked for specific things, I tend to have a problem with, instead of, having the general fund, having us appropriate money to where it's needed at the time. Instead of just having buckets of money sitting there just waiting for some piece of property to fall from the sky. So I'm still a little unsure as to which way I'm going to go. But that would be my reservation, is to, it's not necessarily money in a cushion, it's money in a bucket earmarked specifically for one thing, versus if, that money goes into the general fund, it's also available for the school department. It's available for a number of different things. It could be available for snow and ice should we need it, and we have a giant blizzard and we don't have enough money in that budget. And we're transferring money from somewhere that we don't have it in. So that's my comment on that.
Thank you, Ms. Richards. Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. I share the same concerns as Ms. Richards, but I will support this article because I believe that directing this towards certain uses is going to make sure the town actually uses it, one, for that realm, but also as long as it's being used to supplement funds from other sources or used outright, as Ms. Richards said, not to just sit there for years on end without any clear plan. But I will support this article. Thank you.
Any other comments from the committee? Yes, Mr. Renaud.
With the annual amounts being so different, some large, some small, how are you assessing what pieces of property you want to buy? What's going to be done with the money in the meantime while it's just sitting in that account doing nothing?
Well, we're in discussion at the moment, and that would be a great one for question, but I will allow Mr. Canty to answer that question.
Okay. So, the Land Use and Acquisition Committee reviews all land that comes out of Chapter 61 status, or is going to be coming out of Chapter 61 status. So and they assess it on a variety of criteria, including these specific types of criteria, among others, for whether the town would have any type of use or any reasonable use for that. So that would be the first layer of review. And then depending on what size the parcel is, it could be a matter of general public interest. Like when we have these ones that are the size of like a postage stamp, not a lot of community interest is generally drummed up by that, but there was obviously a lot of community interest about what, if anything, was going to happen to the 176 acres in South Plymouth. So then, the select board was reviewing that and assessing what the town's best options were to do that. The amount of money that goes in will vary over time, and that's sort of the nature of the beast, but it will grow, and it's averaging $83,500 or so per year. And I am anticipating that as the town reaches build out, and you have places like South Plymouth that have 3-acre zoning, because it's rural residential, that is the area where a lot of new development is going to happen, because it's going to be a lot easier. I live in North Plymouth, which a lot of it is pre-zoning. So a lot of the parcels there are like 1/4 of an acre at best. in terms of size. So if you were a private developer looking to buy out like a neighborhood, that would be a costly endeavor in order to get a large enough piece of land to build something like a 40B on. However, it would be much easier to do that in something like South Plymouth, because even if you did have to buy out a neighborhood down there, at 3-acre zoning, you could get to a 40B-sized parcel with a lot fewer deals over time. And there are a number of large parcels in 61 status down there as well. So I think the different areas of town will be affected more likely than not by conversions from 61 to other uses. But over time, the money in the account will grow, and we will be able to leverage it for these specific purposes, as Mr. Malaguti points out, and incentivize the town having another tool in the toolbox for our open space, recreation, and municipal use needs as they continue to develop.
That answer your question, Mr. Renaud?
Yeah, that's fine, thanks.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? I will just add that I shared your concern, Ms. Richards, knowing that the land bank was out there, but now knowing that it still doesn't exist. That alleviated my concern. So with that, we'll take a vote. Ms. Butler, how do you vote on Article 6?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
All right, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Canty. And now we are moving on to Article 10. Kelly McElrath, Town Clerk. Good evening again.
Thank you again for having me. So back in, you might remember, in 2020, for the April 2022 meeting, I was messing up my dates here. I requested an article to do what is known as codification of the bylaws. If you currently look at the bylaws on the website, it's a PDF. It's searchable, but it's a little bit difficult to maneuver to a certain degree. So in my previous community, we codified the bylaws and we put them, and what codification means is an expert. We have a vendor out there known as General Code. They do it for many, many municipalities over the years. And they go through a municipality's bylaws and look for bylaws that are a little bit out of date, like something as simple as New England Historical Society might now be New England something. So, and there's an example of that in here. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But they go through and they look for things that might conflict with state law right now, because state laws have changed, or it might not sound right because it was written so long ago it needed some some corrections to it. So I've worked with this vendor, and a couple of people in town worked with this vendor for a good 6 to 9 months. They went through it, they came up with a lot of questions. I believe it was over almost 150 questions on how we wanted the code to look moving forward. So we answered all those questions. They came back with, the best one to look at is the Schedule A. It was in your packet. These are the changes that we would be looking to make to the general bylaws overall. We're looking to do one vote that will make that would standardize how we refer to Mass General Law. It will standardize how we refer to Select Board, because some places it said Board of Selectmen, sometimes it said Select Board. Sometimes there wasn't a space, sometimes there was, back and forth. It standardizes the language. And in order for me to move forward, I need a vote of town meeting to approve these. I won't say that they're not substantiated, they're not substantial changes, but they're mostly grammatical and corrections to comply with state law and bring up bylaws that is how we do business now. For example, We talked to the fire department, I'm sorry, to the police department about the fire alarms. We talked to not code enforcement, I'm going back to my other community, inspectional services about their seals and measures. It makes it where all the fines that are throughout the bylaw is on the first couple of pages. So everybody knows if you do something wrong, this is going to be your fine that we can do based on state law. So I hope you had a chance to review this. I can go through, I think it would be a lot to go through every single change. If you have any questions on a particular change, I'm happy to try and answer why we answered it that way. But I'm here for any questions you may have, and I hope.
All right, any questions for Ms. McElvey? Yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Yes, I have one on Chapter 129, Beaches and Parks, number 3, Section 129-10 for the overnight camping. So I know that Long Beach is comprised as one of the beaches and parks, but it's situated somewhat separately within that. For the regular beaches and parks, it's prohibited without a permit from the Parks Division, but Long Beach is prohibited with only a permit from Energy Environment. So I'm just wondering what is the rationale for eliminating the Parks Division from Long Beach, but keeping it for the other beaches?
What page are you on, Mr. Malaguti, in the agenda?
On,
A13.
yes.
Chapter 129, Section 1. I'm sorry, Section 3.
Page 31 in the PDF for the meeting. Folks need to know that.
I'm sorry?
For those of us looking at the PDF, it's on page 31, I'm told,
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
by my chair, second vice chair.
I believe because, and my gut tells me as we talked to Energy and Environmental, the director, and we were concerned about the fact that they issue the permits because they protect that part of Long Beach. So they would have to issue, because they do the lottery, they issue the permits for that area. And I don't think Parks handles that anymore. I think it's all handled through Energy and Environmental.
Okay, so then Parks would handle all the other beaches, then? That's why I was just wondering about the difference of the two departments of having two of them issue permits for camping, even though that one...
I don't believe correct me if I'm wrong, and I can double check it, but I don't think there's camping allowed anywhere, even with a permit. The only time that you're allowed to do it is at the Long Beach through the Energy and Environmental Department.
Because I'm just reading it word for word from you. That's why I was just asking about the sort of like double dipping in a way, but not, so.
Yeah, I can definitely double check
Okay.
that. I'm a little cautious to make a lot of changes to this because there are so many changes. And I almost am hoping that we can go through this, make these changes and something like that. We can update at a future town meeting.
Okay, no, I'm not looking for changing right now. I just brought up because it caught my eye instantly, so
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to
Well,
just
it
make
would
sure.
catch your eye based on what you do with the town, so I appreciate that. We didn't catch that, so.
Thank you so
But that
much.
is definitely something that, definitely we're willing to take amendments to this, but I think Ms. White was probably ready to kill me today when I sent her another document, has an update, and I kind of said to the vendor, hopefully tonight is the last night for any updates, and anything else would have to be an amendment to move it forward.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on Article 10
And if
from the
If
public?
there's no other question.
Public comment?
Yeah, if there's no other questions, can I add one more thing?
Yes, please.
Okay, one of the things is, if this is lucky to be approved at town meeting, it would go to the Attorney General for review, like all bylaws do. They will have 90 days to pretty much look at all of our bylaws and approve it. So we would have a new code. This vendor will then place this document on their website that's hosted by them with it's almost like what we do now. There's a lot of, you click on the Town of Plymouth's website and you go to another website. It would be hosted by them. And I can tell you, to search it is so much easier, and you can download the bylaw, it has a PDF, so you can print it and see it and understand what it says. And at the same time, I think we get at least 3 books that are printed that we will have in hand. And further, as we make more changes to bylaws at future town meetings, we won't update it every time, but it will be visible that people can see that the update's been approved. Any future updates would be approved by the Attorney General will be there. And then every couple of years, we'd be asking for funds to update the whole code, and they would add it all in. So it's more than just correcting it, it's making our bylaws that much more easily accessible.
Right, any questions from the public? I see no one remotely or in person. So let's see. Mr. Snyder, would you care to make a motion to approve Article 10?
So moved.
All right, and Ms. Tompkins, would you care to second that?
Seconded.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing and hearing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Excuse me, Ms. Tompkins, my bad. Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
And Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
All right, motion carries 12-0. And thank you very much. All right. Want to take a moment to talk about upcoming meetings. We are scheduled to meet, of course, next Wednesday, the 3rd. As a reminder, again, there's no meeting on the 4th. There is a capital meeting scheduled for September 11th in the evening, and I think that'll be advertised shortly. I've made zero progress in understanding when the precincts are going to hold their caucuses, but I've heard back from one chair today, and I remain cautiously optimistic that we'll hear something in a couple of weeks. A lot of people are still out of town on vacation. I want to let you know that Ms. Dunn, Jean Dunn, has resigned from A&F as of earlier this week, and we are well underway with onboarding and replacement. I hope to announce something next week. I'd also like to announce that the audit subcommittee appointments, Mr. Ramey will chair that subcommittee, and Ms. Richards and Mr. Vecchi will be on that committee as well, and I will be assisting them in getting a first meeting set up, which will be hybrid meetings. And I now know I need to talk to the town IT director, which I will do and help you get set up. All right, so congratulations and many thanks to them for volunteering. I had a couple other people volunteer as well, but we're starting off with 3, and so I appreciate your willingness to, everyone's willingness to offer their time and services. I had down here, were there any questions about Robert's rules that have come up since last time? Otherwise, it's the last time I'll put it on the agenda. Seeing and hearing none, all right. Is there any public comment last chance for public comment before we close out the meeting? And again, seeing and hearing no one in person or remotely, I'll take that as a no. Is there anything else the committee would like to discuss? Yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Yeah, so back during the spring town meeting time, when we were getting presentations, not just from CPC, but from other articles, I questioned about the article for the $3 million for the homeless shelter in the industrial park. And I was waiting for Ms. Barrett and our attorney to get the legal language all set up with the contract between them, and they were going to bring it back to the committee. I never got that contract. I don't know if they never finalized it or if they just forgot to send that, if that could be a possibility for that to be sent to the members so we know the details on that. And then secondly is probably after town meeting, but before we start diving deep into the budget for a spring town meeting, if we could get an overview of the P-card system that the finance department uses with all the other departments for purchasing, technically a purchasing card, but P-card for short. It was a program that the town uses for the credit card transactions that town departments use to buy things, and there was a rewards program, sort of like a regular cashback that regular credit cards have that people have, and it was to be used for the town employee sort of like appreciations and stuff like that. So I was wondering how that is actually going and if it's still being utilized.
All right,
Thank you.
so if I hear you correctly, you're interested in seeing the contract for the shelter. I will tell you, in my involvement with the building committee, we have a building committee rep attending that meeting, the job meetings, just about every week. And, but I'll see if I can, I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's a public document, I'll get you the contract. The town is not, the town gave money and is not a funder of last resort in this project, that much I know. And the contract is actually with the housing authority, not with the town. I imagine it's a public record, and I'll see about getting that.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'll work with Ms. Barrett next week to see when might be I think as we, there's a run up to fall town meeting, but we'll try to schedule a presentation. I'll use the word soon, but perhaps in October, once we get or when the books go out, we have a little bit of a breather or not. But we can find out about that.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay. Any other discussion among the committee? All right, let's see. Mr. Trudell, would you care to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And Mr. Vecchi, I promise not to forget you tonight. Would you care to second that?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
And Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7 minutes after. Thank you.
Figured out the order.